Hi, I'm back again, and I decided why not smoke a doobie after I just prayed to my mother that she would be with me while I was talking on this to you. So, I noticed in the last video, I did say that there was some things you could do to open up the Akashic records, and I wanted to say something, because the first one, I'm quite nervous as I'm trying to do my first video. So first of all, you have to go into the Akashic records. I would say get very, very, very calm. You gotta be really like stoned, you know? So get calm. Realize your intentions, like identify your intentions. Write down specific questions, because this always helps. I actually was doing that. I was doing everything that they say to do in the Akashic, how to access the Akashic records, but it was just naturally I was doing it, because ever since I was young, I had always been trying to do this, but I just never was able to do it until recently. So meditate, of course. So meditate, stay focused. You could ask questions, current questions that you're concerned about would be a good one. What I think of it as is using the Akashic records in the same way that I would use tarot cards. So very similar in that regard. So that was what I wanted to say about the Akashic records. And the next part I wanted to say was when I said that I was experiencing things with my mother when she passed, and I was grieving her, is because she was taking me through, which I felt she was taking me through, her life review. I did not know what a life review was, but I was seeing I was experiencing different things that she would talk about feeling, like being lonely. Certain memories were popping up in my head that it's not that I forget anything, because I remember way back when, but some things I guess the word I'm looking for is I will try to put this memory out of my head because I don't want it to pertain to the now moment, or I have something in the past that I know is the reason why I'm making all these choices now, but I don't want to look at it because, you know, you just don't want to see what you don't want to see. So that's what I meant by I was starting to have experiences with my mother. And yes, in the last, when I was with Crystal above the bed, I was in the car going to Turlock, as I was also in Texas in the hospital bed in the past. So I'm present and I'm in the past with Crystal. And then when I got to see the two future pictures, I was in the future. So I was in the present, past, and future all at the same time. I know it's mind-blowing to me. I always am just like, what the heck? Okay, so yes, that happens, and it does happen quite often, and you can have fun with it too. You don't have to just be like, oh, this is going to be this and this is going to be this serious. But I think that what happens with the way our souls, so I'm a body, my soul has me. I am not anything without the body. So the soul is everything. So what I'm saying is, your soul knows, and if you're open and receptive to wanting to be healed and wanting to reconcile your past, your soul is going to make that possible for you. You are not going to really have to ask. You can want it. Me, I desperately want it, so I'm always going for it. I feel something in my body, I immediately go to that feeling and I check it out. I say, well, why is my big toe hurting, or why is my stomach feeling like this, or why am I having anxiety right now? There's nothing happening right now. Why are you doing this? You know, be rational, rationalize with yourself. You know, a lot of us don't do that enough. We have to definitely start doing it more often, because it will help you so much. It'll help your relationship. I promise you. It will help all of your past relationships also. It'll change everything. I wanted to say also, cats are someone that I watch take their last breath. I saw my cat Bear take his last breath in our garage, and it was quite an experience. He was, all of a sudden he was in the garage, and I was out there with him, and he wanted me to stay out there with him, so I did, and I felt that, you know. When he did take his last breath, I did feel some energy around his body, and I held him after he went, you know, dropped his body. I was definitely in that feel of what that, I felt a spiritual something during that time. So today I wanted to talk about, you know, getting drained by people, and oftentimes that's why we will isolate, self-isolate, and we stay away from a lot of really good people who can actually teach you a lot of stuff about yourself, because we were saying we're getting drained. I'm one of them. I used to always say that, and it wasn't until this, like within months now, that I had been visiting with a friend, and this friend was very upset, and I was trying to console her as best I could. There was a couple of things that I did ritualistically after my mom passed, because I needed to release myself. I needed to let go of what I was before I lost my mother. I had to reevaluate my life, and I needed to bury a lot of the old stuff. So I went in the backyard and I wrote ferociously on this paper, and I was like, well, actually I was writing a petition. I made it exactly like a petition, and I was writing about everything that I don't want and I'm going to bury, and I was mourning. I was kind of writing a obituary to myself, my old self. And it was a hard time. I could barely stand up at that time. So I took the paper after it was done, I folded it up, and I'm like literally on my stomach in the backyard at the fire pit, and I make a fire, I throw the paper in, and I'm just watching my old self burn. And I was like, wow. And I was, you know, how you feel, there's a certain feel to you because you're in this dense body, first of all, so you're already connected to it. What you feel, you're feeling, right? So I had to explain to myself what I'm feeling is not always what I'm feeling, because I'm an anxious person. So I wanted to get rid of the anxiety, the loneliness I was feeling, just so many different things. I wanted to make my relationship with my husband better. I wanted to do all these things, and I was just trying to get rid of any obstacles that could possibly be in the way of getting to what I want, which was happiness and joy and experiencing a good life, because that's what we're here for. So after I am done burning that, I bury it by the tree outside. And you know, I was really crying. That was a real hard day. And when I was explaining this to my friend, I was really crying, but now I'm not. So I think that's a good sign. So anyways, they started talking about feeling lonely, being lonely and stuff, and it was really getting to me, and it was taking me into a dark place, you know, because I don't really think of myself I don't think of myself as being a lonely person. I like alone time, I like self-care time, but I also do like being around my friends, and I like being around my family, and I don't like feeling like, oh God, now I'm around my family, and whoa, I'm drained for a month now. If I hang out with my friend, I'm going to be drained for a month. I won't see anyone for a month. That's not any way to live your life, girl, boy, anyone who's listening. The thing is, when somebody drains you, you say, oh, that person drained me. Well, why did they drain you? What did they do? I would ask you that. Oh, well, they were talking about, let me think of what, besides, I mean, I'll just use mine, loneliness. She was talking about loneliness, and it was getting to my heart. So I came home, and I was just like I was a shell of a person. I was just, my soul took a beating, so to speak, you know. Something was going on, and I didn't know what it was. So I was just like, how in the heck can I keep on living this way in life? This is like no way to live. So I came upstairs, and I got in bed, and I just put the covers over my head, and I watched a really kind of depressing show. It was a Tyler, it's that little psychic, gay psychic kid. He's real cute, he's adorable, and I think what he's doing is fantastic. But I was so relating to him, helping somebody, and then being in bed for days. It was just like that, and I'm like, that's no way to live, and it makes you feel so unhealthy when you're doing that, and it's just, ugh. So I'm here, and I'm just like, what the hell happened? Can I ever see this friend again? I mean, what is happening? Of course, I'm not looking at myself. There's no way I'm gonna look at me. Hey, me, I don't have nothing to do with that person's drain or drama or anything. I have nothing to do with it. Yeah, right. Yes, you do. And I'll tell you what. She grabbed the pain I have inside of me of being lonely and fearing loneliness, fearing losing someone. I have terrible grief anxiety that I wasn't even addressing. I was addressing it, but I wasn't dealing with it. I wasn't actively trying to heal the root cause of why do I feel so abandoned, and why do I feel so like everybody's gonna leave me, everybody's gonna die on me, and everybody's gonna do this to me. Why am I doing that? That is no way to live. And so after I figured that out, that was in me, and thanks to Ram Dass, because that's always what helps me. I'll go straight to Ram Dass, and he usually wakes me up pretty quick to the reality of our reality. We are in charge, and we are responsible for everything in our lives. It's so hard to say that. It is. But we come here to learn these things so that our consciousness and our higher self will be that much more vibrant. You've got to keep going with it. I'm going to tell you a story because I have 15 minutes left, and I think that you might like this one. When I was little, when I was a baby, I was very highly intuitive. Right off the bat, I didn't know what that was. How could I know what it was? I don't know what it was, but I could see different things going on in my life that I knew weren't right. So my mom would send me to see my dad. A little backstory about my mom and dad. my dad took advantage of my mother when at a party, and that's how come I'm here. So I consider that rape. My mother never talked bad about him, but she did say he took advantage of her. She said no, and he still persisted and did it. Said she wouldn't get pregnant, and if she did, he was going to marry her, and you know, all that wonderful stuff that guys say. But I forgive him. That's not what this is about. So, flash forward to I'm born, and my mom sends me over to see him. By the time I was able to speak, I was not calling him Dad. I was calling him Steve by his name. I have another brother. He's a half-brother, and I have also an adopted brother. My father married a woman and adopted her son to be his son. So I never felt like I was his child, or I didn't think he was my dad, that's for sure. I didn't look at it that way. It didn't feel right calling him Dad, so I didn't. So when I would go see him, and I would see my grandma and my grandpa and my uncles and aunts and my brothers, and they noticed I wasn't calling him Daddy, they called my mommy. And she punished me for that. And now if you can see what that would do to a child like me, who was intuitive, and I know this person's feelings towards me were not love, and they were not, you know, fatherly, that's for sure. I'm told by my mother, I'm being punished by my mother not to say, that I have to say, call him Dad regardless of how I feel. So the way I feel did not matter. And so, for me, I was going to see my dad because of two reasons: guilt and obligation. But the funny part is, my dad never paid child support, so he never took care of me. So the guilt and the obligation was put solely on me. I had to go up there and act like he was my dad, and pretend like I was sad when he wasn't around, and act like I didn't hear him, just order 3 baseball tickets and excluded me. You know, all these things I had to go through from too young to now. That's just one other scene that my mother actually showed me, or it rose up in me to realize why I have such a hard time listening to my intuition and trusting it as well. And I notice I often get into situations where it is about guilt and obligation, and that is no way to live. And once again, and my mother, I love my mother so much. She raised me to be this way. She raised me, and she is even with me when she's not in her body. She's an amazing soul, and she was showing me that as she was leaving her body. And I think that's what I want to talk about next time, about the souls and how the way they are when they leave whenever somebody's about to pass, they show you their soul. If you look, if you listen, if you want to see that, you will see that, and it's pretty awesome. So I think that was it. And I wanted to say also, thank you to my higher self, my guides, my mother, my cousin, my aunties, my uncle, my grandparents, all of my ancestors. They are all with me. This is why I am able to speak. I have the hardest time using my voice. That has always been the one chakra that was extremely closed. And I have a bunch of people to thank for that right there, because when people would give me challenges along the way, those were also, hey, thump, 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 get that throat chakra going, girl. You know you can do it. We all can do it. So that's my video for today, or for tonight, actually. If you're hearing music, that's by Eye of Aquila. I own no rights to these songs. But they're jamming in the basement downstairs. And I'm in my room talking to you about life experiences, and maybe, just maybe, I can help you with what you're going through, and you can help me with what I'm going through. I'm gonna have to try to figure out how to get comments on here, but I believe that that's a wrap. You know what I would like to do? Let's end this, since it's 2053. Let's end this with a prayer, but a little bit of a longer prayer. Okay. So let's have an intention. Our intention from this video was about draining, and try to ask yourself, what does draining mean? When somebody drains you, what is that doing to you? Why is that doing to you? Why is that doing something to you? Why are you getting a reaction like this? That's such a wonderful way to pause in the moment, you know? The way we react to people is so... it can make a bad situation good, and it also can make a good situation worse. I mean, bad. I mean, yeah. So let's start really focusing on how we see other people. I listened to R.J. Spina. I just recently found this guy, and he was talking about how when you make cookies, your soul and everything is the batter, right? Your soul's the batter, and it's like a bunch of different. And when when you take the batter out and you put it on a pan, you're making your cookies, right? You're making your individual little cookies. Hint, hint, wink, wink. I'm an individual little cookie. So are you. So you're having the little cookies, and when they come out of the oven, they're not all looking the same. But the batter that they came out of is all the same. You couldn't find one out of the whole batch, really, you know, unless you know that you have the essence of that, right? I mean, it's a lot to think about, but it's true if you think about it. I'm in this body. You know in Mean Girls, when Katie Herring says, everybody was so upset about and fighting about this piece of plastic, it's a crown. She starts breaking the crown. I watched this the other day, and I was like, that's a metaphor for that's us, that's our body. And then I watched Mean Girls in a whole different mindset. Once the crown becomes your body, and how everybody's fighting over it and getting mad at each other and hurting each other for this what? Piece of material? We're a piece of material too. But we're very attached to our bodies. And the whole thing is from rolls to souls. Ram Dass again. But anyways, I wanted to also blow this whistle to have the highest vibrations of love that you can imagine in your life. And it starts inside of you. I know it seems so strange to say, but nothing is outside of you, you know? felt really awesome. I'm extremely high. And the weed that I have here is, I'm not a sponsor of this weed or anything. This weed's not sponsoring me, but I effing love it. It's called Candescent, and it's calm. It says read a book, sleep. Oh no, this isn't the one that I'm on right now. That's a total different ball game. This is the brand, but the one that I have that I'm on right now is not that one. It's Cruz. Run errands, walk along the beach. I know, right? Like what I would give to walk along the beach. I have my floor sweep right in front of me though. I don't know if you can see this. Oops. Oops. I guess I can't show you. Okay, there's my floor sweep. And this is going into about, oh, it's at 26. I hope y'all don't mind. I just wanted to talk to y'all a little bit longer tonight. And I wanted to send y'all a lot of love and a lot of goodness on this Wednesday evening. Beautiful Wednesday evening. We're coming up on the Thursday, and then Friday, and then it's the weekend. Come on. We're gonna have a good time, enjoy life, and keep it real. If I had anything to say right now, it would be tell the truth regardless of the consequences, and see what happens. You are loved. I am blessed to know you, and I thank God, Goddess, Buddha, the tarot, the ancestors, everybody. I asked them for our guidance, their guidance this week and for the rest of our lives, you know? Be good, be cool. You can measure the love, I just got this right now. You can measure the love you bring to each day by the joy you experience in each moment. Yes, that's how we're ending it. Take care. Bye.